British military will train Syrian moderates, says Michael Fallon. Britain is to provide military training to Syrian moderate opposition forces, Defence Secretary Michael Fallon has said. Defence Secretary Michael Fallon said the UK would send around 75 military trainers and headquarters staff to provide instructions in the use of small arms, infantry tactics and medical skills. The training, which forms part of a US-led programme to support the moderate Syrian opposition, will take place in Turkey. The Prime Minister has ruled out direct military action inside Syria without giving MPs another vote in Parliament authorising strikes. But he has warned that Islamic State will only be defeated if it is driven out of both Iraq and Syria. Did you notice that they put the Syrian moderate opposition forces in inverted commas? Well, that's because there are no moderate Syrian forces. This is what classes as moderate in that region, someone eating the heart of a dead soldier. John McCain met this guy, and according to reports, he thinks him and his friends are cracking. He gets on with them like a house on fire. Just what does it mean to be moderate? Do they not kill the people they're fighting? What do they do instead then? Do they stamp on their toes, kick them in the shins and run off? Both of which can in fact really hurt. The opposition forces in Syria are ISIS. We're now training ISIS to take out Assad. The world is insane. Do you remember this from not so long ago? The West now has no choice but to work with Assad. So, having tried but failed to support ISIS in Syria in 2013 to remove Assad when Cameron lost the vote in the Commons, they're now supporting and training ISIS, the Syrian opposition, while saying they're going to work with Assad, who they wanted to out only 2 years ago to defeat ISIS, who they're now training. Unbelievable. We have a general election coming up, you may or may not have noticed, and I bet no one asks anything about us training ISIS to fight Assad whilst apparently working with Assad to defeat ISIS. Just how crazy does that sound? How Orwellian. We've always been at war with East Asia. We've never been at war with East Asia. Labour, the Tories, Lib Dems, UKIP, they will all take us to war for profits for the bankers. This is where politics is a joke. They are all in it together, and the only way we can break free from our government killing people in our name is to demand a new way, a new system, because this system is clearly broken. But Obama is even worse than Cameron. Now bear in mind that they can read a number plate from space and they can follow anyone on the planet anywhere for as long as they like in real time. Thanks, Snowden. How on earth did this happen? US loses $500 billion in weapons given to Yemen, now in Al-Qaeda's hands. Just look at what they lost. They lost 1.25 million rounds of ammunition, 300 sets of night vision goggles, 200 Glock 9mm pistols, 250 suits of body armour, 200 M4 rifles, 160 Humvees, not the little matchbox size ones, the real ones, 160. How the fuck do you lose them? 4 Huey helicopters, 2 Cessna 208 transport and surveillance aircraft, 4 hand-launched Raven drones, 1 CN-235 transport and surveillance aircraft. And get this, they actually managed to lose 2 coastal patrol boats. How the hell do you lose all of that? But now, all of these weapons are in the hands of ISIS and Al-Qaeda, the very group that we're now going to support and train to fight themselves whilst fighting Assad, whilst working with Assad. The bottom line is America and us, through NATO, are funding, training and arming the very group we claim to be fighting. These weapons weren't lost. They were handed over to them. They take you for fools. They think you're an absolute idiot and you'll buy the fact that they could lose 160 Humvees. Simply amazing. Now don't get me wrong, there are real terrorists who are killing real people. we've just created them again, and we've let them loose again. This is so the countries, i.e. America and the UK, can use the threat of the terrorists they created to clamp down on freedoms at home. The government will save you from ISIS. You just have to give up every single freedom. It's called full spectrum dominance, and they get away with it all of the time because people do not care, and they don't look into stories beyond what they hear and see on the news. A 2-minute newscast and they think they're informed. It is an absolute joke, and we need to wake up, and wake up fast.